Welcome to this session on CNA eTool Basic Navigation, which is an excerpt of a webinar that was originally recorded in June 2020. The purpose of this session is to ensure that users understand the user dashboard and how to navigate through CNA eTool and submit a CNA. First, we'll talk about the user dashboard and the process used to create, assign, send, and submit a CNA. After logging into CNA eTool, users will first see their personalized dashboard. The dashboard is the default home screen of CNA eTool for external users. It displays CNAs that are relevant to you. From here, you can quickly access CNAs that are in your possession, are in your partner firm's possession, or have been submitted to your approving agency, such as HUD. What you're seeing here is the dashboard for submitters, who are generally lenders. Click on the triangles next to each heading to reveal the CNAs in each category: My Desk, My Partner's Desk, and With Agency. Users can access a CNA by clicking on the blue assessment ID located next to the property name. On the left-hand side of the dashboard, there are two vertical tabs: My CNAs and Search. The My CNAs tab has quick preset filters that show numbers of CNAs that you are working on, sorted by type and program status. New CNAs are also created by the submitter from the dashboard. Create a new CNA by clicking on the Start New Assessment button at the top right of the user dashboard. We will now go over these fields one by one. The My Desk field of the dashboard contains CNAs that are currently in your possession. These CNAs are in your possession because you're actively working on them. Your My Desk field will only show CNAs linked to you as an individual. However, you can search for any CNAs that have been initiated by or assigned to your firm by clicking on the Search tab at the top left of the screen. Use the Search filter to access all the CNAs within your organization. We'll talk more about the search function later. The My Partner's Desk field contains CNAs that are currently possessed by a partner organization. A partner organization is established when a CNA is sent from you to an organization that you selected as your preparer, or when you receive a CNA from your submitter. This will be explained in more detail later. The With Agency field contains CNAs that have been submitted to the approving agency, such as HUD or USDA. The New Assignments Received field is available for users who are preparers, usually needs assessors. It contains CNAs that have been sent to your organization by a partner submitter, such as a lender, and have not yet been claimed by anyone within your firm. Anyone within the organization can take possession of the CNA at any point. In general, you can take possession of a CNA simply by opening one, making any edits, and saving it. Once you save any edits you've made by clicking on the Save button on any of the screens, the CNA will now appear in your My Desk field going forward until someone else takes possession of it by doing the same. This can come in useful when someone needs to sub in for a coworker that is out of the office. Now we'll focus on the left sidebar portion of the dashboard. The left sidebar has two tabs: My CNAs and Search. As we mentioned earlier, the My CNAs tab contains quick preset filters. Selecting these filters will only display the CNAs that you are or were in possession of by CNA type and program and by status. The number in the blue rectangle indicates the number of the CNAs that are applicable to that filter. Click on the filter to only display CNAs in that category. For example, if you click on 221D4, only the one CNA that you're working on that fits that description will be displayed. You can also quickly filter by status. The statuses are listed on the resulting list will only include CNAs in that status. Next, we'll discuss the Search tab. The Search tab also has quick filters similar to the My CNAs tab by CNA type and programs. However, in the search view, the filters account for all the CNAs within your organization, whereas the My CNAs tab only shows the CNAs that you yourself are working on. Above the set of quick filters, you can also search by selecting your own parameters. Notice the two search parameter fields at the top. In the top field, there's a drop-down menu which lists different parameters that you can search by. These are listed alphabetically: AMAS number, approving agency, assessment ID, date range, FHA number, partner name or individual within the firm, property name, RAD TIC number, staff name, HUD reviewer staff, and state where the project is located. Most of the search types are straightforward. For instance, if you select FHA number, you simply enter an FHA number in the field directly under the Select Search Type field. Likewise, if you select partner name, you'd enter the partner name in the second field as well. One of the search parameters has additional subparameters, the date range. When you select the date range search parameter, a drop-down menu listing the types of date ranges appears in the second field, including CNA effective date, sent/status change date, or last modified date. Then you enter the applicable date range in the start and end date fields as shown. Then the search will bring up all CNAs with the relevant dates that fall within the specified date range. Now that we've seen the user dashboard and understand its aspects and functions, we'll go through how to navigate through the screens when you open a CNA. First, when you open a CNA by clicking on the blue assessment ID number, you'll see a screen that looks like this. This is the first screen of your CNA, which is the CNA summary screen. You'll notice the following information, which will always stay at the top of the screen as you move through the CNA. The header displays some useful information across the top of the screen, including property name, city in which the property is located, and FHA number or property number as relevant. The CNA type and program information, status, whether it's been sent to your partner or is in your possession, or submitted to HUD and currently under review, returned, or approved. A home button that you can click to close the CNA and return to your dashboard screen, next to which you will see your own name and MID as well. There are also two important buttons, Validate and Options. Let's talk about options. The Options drop-down menu displays actions that the user can take that affect the CNA as a whole. The Options button is a great feature that we discuss intermittently throughout this presentation. The actions available differ slightly depending on the user type and CNA type, but in general, the menus look like the two shown on the screen. The blue box on the left of the screen shows that submitters see in the Options menu, and the box on the right shows what preparers see. Submitters, as the CNA initiators, can submit CNAs to HUD. Preparers are limited to being able to send CNAs to partnering lenders or submitters. Both types of users can duplicate a CNA by selecting the Create a New Version function and export the CNA data to a downloadable spreadsheet with the Export this CNA function. Import from a CNA describes the ability to directly import certain sections of another CNA's data directly into the current CNA. You can delete a CNA from this section, but please be careful if you do this, as once you have confirmed deletion of a CNA, it's gone. There's currently no undo button or a recycling bin. If you need to retrieve a deleted CNA, you would need to contact the CNA eTool support team. Creating a new version of a CNA or a duplicate CNA creates an exact replica of the original CNA with a new assessment ID number. For most user paths, once the submitter initiates the CNA and completes the CNA summary screen, he or she will send it to the preparer, who is generally the needs assessor. This action is referred to as sending the CNA to a partner. To send the CNA to the needs assessor, the submitter clicks on the Options button at the top right hand of the screen. From the drop-down menu, select Send the CNA. From the resulting drop-down menu, select the assessor organization or individual to which the CNA is to be sent. Next, click Send CNA. The CNA will then automatically appear in the needs assessor firm's dashboard under New Assignments Received. A few items to note are as follows. Once a partner firm is selected, it cannot be changed. If you send the CNA in the future, the partner firm will automatically be selected. The needs assessor firms are listed in the drop-down. Each time a new organization registers as a preparer firm with secure systems, the new organization will be listed in the drop-down menu. And finally, appearance of an organization on the drop-down list is not an endorsement of that organization by HUD. The import from a CNA screen looks like this. The first step is to select the CNA that you want to import from. You can either search for it by filling out the search parameter fields as shown at the top of the slide, or you can select one from the list of available CNAs shown in the middle section. At the bottom of the screen is a list of the data screens that are currently available to import from. Some of these are unit types, buildings, components, and alternatives. More screens from which you are able to import data are currently available. Please note that this import feature is only available to the preparer user type. When you select Export the CNA from the Operations dropdown, the screen shown on the slide appears. Simply click on the screens and/or validation data you wish to export and select Export. This will create an Excel spreadsheet with tabs for each of the screens you selected, with columns for each field. Once in the data entry screens, you can navigate to different data and information screens by using the Navigation Sidebar tabs. At the very top of the sidebar, you'll notice two tabs, the Assessment Entry tab and the Validation tab. Let's first talk about the Assessment Entry tab, where the data entry screens are listed vertically. The little icon on the left of the screen name that looks like a pencil on a sheet of paper indicates the screens that the user has edit or write access to or is responsible for. The left Assessment Entry tab pictured on the slide is what the submitters will see, and you can see which screens the submitter, usually the lender, are responsible for completing. The Assessment Entry tab pictured on the right side of this slide is the preparers, usually the needs assessor. As you can see by the edit icons shown, the bulk of the screens are to be completed by the preparer. Clicking on a data entry header in the list will take the user directly to that screen. Users can view the data in the screens for which they do not have edit rights, but the actual data fields will be read-only. Also accessible from the left sidebar is the Validation tab. Clicking on the Validation tab on the navigation bar will take you to the validated results screens. You do not validate the CNA from this menu bar. We will discuss how to do that on the next two slides. Once you select the Validation tab, the appearance of the screen changes, much like when you open a CNA from the dashboard and the input screens look different than the dashboard screen. You will notice that the vertical list of screens will change to display various available screens, such as flags, repair needs, future needs, and financial schedule and estimate period recap. These screens display various validated results of your CNA. Again, we'll discuss this more shortly. To actually validate the CNA, you click on the Validate button located in the top header, which is always accessible no matter which screen you're on. The Validate button is always available at the top of the CNA that you're working on. You can click to validate as often as you need to and see the immediate validated results to any data you enter or edit along the way. Clicking the Validate button takes you automatically to the validation screen and shows you the validation results. Using the left navigation sidebar, you can view different areas of validated results. There are several different list views accessible on this sidebar. Unlike the CNA dashboard, the left sidebar contains both filters and reports that you can click to view. These views include Flags View. This view displays validation flags and is where you can enter responses to those flags. Repair Needs View displays a summary of repair needs. Future Needs View, which is read-only, displays a summary of future needs. Financial Schedule and Estimate Period Recap, which is also read-only, displays a financial summary and schedule. This screen shows all of the flags. Notice that on the left-hand sidebar, you can select a flag type, either informational, warning, or severe, to see only flags of that type listed on the main part of the screen. The lender responds to flags directly within the web app from the flags listed after clicking on the Validation tab. To respond to flags, simply select the green Respond to Flags button at the top right of the screen as shown on the previous slide. A response entry screen opens up, which contains all of the information about the flag, including the ID, the number of instances, description, and why the flag occurred. Simply enter the response into the field shown and select Save. Select Cancel if you wish to delete the response. Tip: to navigate through the flags, simply use the blue forward and back arrows along the bottom edge. This slide shows how to view the property's repair needs. Simply click on Repair Needs and a table appears on the main portion of the screen. The table shown on the slide provides a summary of immediate repairs. The total repair costs and repairs per unit costs are displayed for each category. This data comes from the Components, Alternatives, and Recommendations section and the Decisions section. The following categories of immediate repairs are reported: life safety remedies, accessibility remedies subcategory immediate action, in other words, the remedies that must occur prior to closing, subcategory called deferred, for example, the accessibility remedies that may be completed within 12 months of closing, and non-critical needs. Also on the Validation tab, you can click on Future Repairs to see the full life cycle of repairs over the estimate period. A Future Needs table will appear. This table contains cost data for every component that will require future replacements within a certain number of years defined by the agency, typically 20 years. Each component with future needs will be listed under its component type. Not applicable indicates no component under that particular component type, and will list the following information. You may need to use the scroll bars to see all the table rows and columns. They include component type, selected alternative, remaining useful life, estimated useful life, quantity, unit of measure, unit cost, one-time subtotal. This is the total cost of replacing the component. Yearly costs. The remaining columns break down the total costs by year. The costs in each year column only represents the cost of replacing that component for the specific year. The yearly costs are based on the EUL, or estimated useful life. To view a larger image of the future needs table, click on the expand icon. To collapse the larger view, click on the collapse icon. The last view you can generate under the Validation tab is the Financial Schedule and Estimate Period Recap. This table contains a schedule of annual deposits to the Reserve for Replacement account, or balances and withdrawals for each year in the estimate period, based on the CNA preparer's assumptions and the submitter's decisions. This table can be used to project future costs and to ensure that there are enough funds available to meet the required minimum balance for each year. Estimate Period Recap. This table contains an overall summary of Reserve for Replacement deposits, balances, and withdrawals for the entire estimate period, assuming that all of the physical issues of the property listed under Components, Alternatives, and Recommendations are addressed. Note that the financial schedule builds in interest earned in the Reserve for Replacement account and inflation factors. Thank you for listening to this session. We hope you enjoyed it. Please take a look at the resources on this HUD CNA eTool homepage. Thanks again, and have a great day.